Welcome to TCM Talk Therapy. Hi, I'm Jen and I'm a doctor of Chinese medicine specializing in facial acupuncture, and I'm a face reader. I grew up in the West and practice in Eastern therapy.
Hi, I'm Grace and I'm a marriage and family therapist. I grew up in the East and practice a Western therapy.
Together we engage in organic conversations that bridge the topics we want to dive deeper in.
Let's get curious in finding compassion for ourselves, our bodies, and each other. I'm just gonna officially start, but we're gonna still keep it casual, but just more like for the editing purposes of.
I got you.
Welcome back, Leo. Yes. So I decided to invite Leo back for a one-on-one conversation because he is the most quoted episode back to me in my sessions, in my day-to-day life, out of all the episodes we've done so far, which is about 12. And it doesn't sound like a big number, but it's so much work. But in those 12 episodes, Leo's episode came back to me the most, and like the most resonant, or like the most I don't want to say insightful because that places a lot of pressure on Leo to like say a gem every sentence, but just more the idea of like something that came from his heart, like just like impacted people I know. And I want to say too, that was the most striking thing about that was like mostly was all women.
Was there a particular aspect, like a particular thing, idea, concept that really hit them? I'm really curious.
I want to say it was just the idea that like a man could be like you, if that makes sense. Because I asked that too, because I was like, oh, what in particular? Like, was there a quote? Was there a moment? I know one person said like, oh, it's the way that you framed, like, if you distill their problems down to one sentence, it was like men don't feel like they're enough. But I think it was also just the fact that like for you were just like vulnerable about what you're going through, what you've been through, what you've been seeing other men go through. And as someone who grew up around boys, I don't find it like shocking. But for a lot of women who are socialized to be only with women or being a girl's girl, hearing a man say what you say, I think is so striking.
I've been saying in our sessions, our souls are infinite, but time is not. So how can we work within the finite space of time that we're given when someone pays to show up to an event, to take time out of their day? How can we cut to the core of the matter as quickly as possible, right? Just because then the quickly we cut to the core of it, we like create a sense that there's no shame in this space, the more enjoyable the rest of the time is. So for example, up in the Bay Area, we did a weightlifting for mental health event. That was really interesting. It was probably the most masculine coded event we've ever done with Proud Asian Men. At the start, I facilitated something. So shout out to John and Colin up in Vancouver, because they told me for their Asian men's retreats, they always start with this activity. Everyone stands in a circle, like far apart, and you just start reading statements. And it's just like, hey, if this statement is true for you, take a step forward. Right. And I was like, I'm not messing around with these questions. We're going to cut straight to it. Right. Like, there's a time in my life where I didn't want to be Asian. There's a time in my life where I was not happy with my body. There's comments about my body from friends, family, partner that have stuck with me, that still affect me to this day. And then when everyone steps forward, I really enjoyed it, because then once we got to the weightlifting portion, it was like all masks are off. And then Brandon, our weightlifting instructor, is like, it's not a competition, right? Some of the guys in the room, they're powerlifting competitors. They're supposed to lift more than you because they've put in more time. So this is just about you. And then the environment was so positive, right? It was like, hey, something's hurting. Okay, ease off. Like even for me personally, we were doing a front squat and I was starting to feel this sharp pain in my shoulder, where before as a man, I might have been like, all right, stop being a little wussy. Like just get it up.
Push through. Yep.
Yeah. And Brandon, our instructor, he's so good about, I was like, hey, I'm feeling this pain. Like, what do you think? He's like, just stop. Switch up. We have different options for exercise. Use a kettlebell. You're still going to get a great workout in. You don't need to kill yourself, right? Like as a man, learning to tune into the body and identify like what's good pain. Pain of like, oh, this is my body getting more resilient. This is the kind of pain that I need that will help me do the things I want to in life, versus a pain that's going to be a limit that's going to have lasting consequences for me. And that's very personal for me because I had a really big back injury last year. And that's because I wasn't mindful as I was lifting. And then you connect that all to like masculine ego. I gotta lift. I gotta go hard if I don't continually push myself. And it feels so silly looking back, Grace, because Brandon, he talks about,
Yeah.
if you're going through a traumatic period in your life of grief, of sadness, you're probably not going to be able to max out the way you want to
It sounds
during
so
that period.
simple. Wow.
So so he was saying when you push your body to that 70-80% line of effort, your body registers that as we did a hard thing. Nice. You don't need to 100% max out every single time. Yeah.
Like, because the context changed, right? So your 70-80% could be 150 that day. And
Oh yeah.
listening to that, I know that sounds so simple. I know even as you're talking, I'm like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, and there were a few just shares from that session I wanted to share with you specifically, where there was this one guy, even at the beginning when we did the circle exercise, he was already emotional. You could tell, when it's like, I could tell you want to cry, but you're like, oh, I don't want to be the first one to cry, like that feeling. But I'm like, I see your eyes watering. I feel I can hear that your voice is shaking. I know what that's like because I've been there myself. And he shared at the end, I was like, why, where is this emotion coming from? And he was just saying, this sense of community, I convinced myself that I didn't need this. I was ready to go through the rest of my life being like, well, that's not even possible. So let me just not believe in the possibility of it. Hope is cut off, right? And hope is so central to this work, because if you don't have hope that things can get better, then
it won't.
It's going to be a really hard time.
Mm-hmm.
And another striking share was someone, there being like, hey, I know most of you don't know me, but I'm gay. And this event actually means a lot to me because I grew up just feeling that straight men are not safe. They're dangerous. They're competitive. They're harmful. They're dick bags, right? They'll tear you down the second that they can perceive that you're weaker than them. So then he started choking up too. He was like, I wish that the young gay boy in me could experience what I'm experiencing now from you guys. The sense of safety, the sense of positivity. It's funny to me because I'm like, keep in mind, he's like 5-foot Indonesian dude. He's like literally lifting double the weight of anyone in the gym. Like, not even close, So it was like, whoa, within the space of a few hours, we get this guy that everyone's looking at like, oh my God, I want to lift like that. And then an hour later, he's like, wow, this is so beautiful. Thank you guys for being, who you are, not just like how much you lift. So I'm live processing this, so thank you for witnessing it. Yeah,
that was a part of it too, because I was like, I know, Leo, you've been through so much in the past few months, since we last talked on this podcast. Like, there's been so many events, and I know there's just so much growth in that, and also just so many ongoing thoughts. It's so exciting to hear that, especially because that was something that I remember we talked about privately about, like, what about queer Asian men? Can they come to this group and can they still feel safe? And I know that there were already 1 or 2 cases that came in that you were like, okay, this is safe, this is good. We've managed to keep it so brave and safe. But hearing this particular story just resonates so much in my system because of how much bravery it took for this one person to show up and say all those things in front of straight men, and also be able to speak for his inner young gay boy in him. I want to remind that person, if he's gonna listen, is that little boy in you is listening right now and is being healed, just by you taking that brave step to be around other straight men, not just straight boys, but straight men.
And that's what I'm realizing is helpful about the way we do things. We run groups every week, no matter what. Every 2 weeks, free through AMHP. Every month, there's going to be something. Now, every quarterly, there's something in the Bay Area. So we benefit from what I'm starting to call accumulated trust. It's not just 15 Asian men showing up for the first time, right? Within this web, there's so many relationships, and some of them hang out outside of these groups. They go to the gym together, they work together. They're already really close friends before they came to this group together. So we benefit from the accumulated trust of everyone that shows up. So when people walk into the room and we're there, you can feel like, oh, I talked to that guy, he feels pretty emotionally safe. Then I talked to that guy. So the new guys benefit. One of our guys, he'd been on the online group for a while, older gentleman, and when he came for the first time for the weightlifting event, and I could see it in his eyes what it meant to him. Like, we did acknowledgments at the end, and he acknowledged me, hand on my shoulders, like looking in my eyes, or like this close.
Wow.
I could see it in his eyes. Like, even if he didn't say a single word, everything in his eyes was like, thank you. I needed this. I think about for older Asian guys, especially as we've been traveling different places, meeting them, something in their eyes I just feel it's saying like, I thought I would die without this. I was certain that I would die without this. So there's a reorientation of like, oh, it's here. What do I do with it? How do I handle it? It's like, that's upsetting to the system as well, because a norm is shifted, and because we're in our community, we're just like, have it.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? I don't need to fight for it. I don't need to bleed for it. And it's like, no, just have it.
And I think what you just said, like the way he communicated, you're meeting him at his level, right? Because a lot of stigma around a lot of men as well, I feel, is that they don't speak up enough, or they don't say enough, or they don't say the right thing. And I'm also coming from a female perspective and someone who works with couples. So many complaints. He doesn't say it the right way. He doesn't say it the way I want him to. But it takes a lot to just let, like you said, like let an older man just look you in the eyes, put his hand on your shoulders, and just say thank you, and it meant the world. Like, not because he said it, and not because like you like guessed it out of him. You were just like, no, I actually was present with him, and I just know that this probably changed the course of his life, and I won't know what the course was, but like, I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah, I think men, when it's done right, we bring a different kind of safety, and it's different from the safety that women bring. I think when those two things arrive in harmony together, it's amazing, because it's like, yeah, there's going to be accountability here as well.
Yes.
Like, that's important. Like, that's something we're also incorporating into our space. What is this line between coddling and accountability? I actually have a question for you, Grace. Can I ask questions
yes, of course,
as a podcast guest? Okay.
He's like, you turn back to you.
Yeah, I've been storing this in my mind, because again, I'm not a mental health professional. Granted, I've done my own education in many ways.
Right now, you're pretty professional.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just know there's like, you put in so many hours to be a therapist, and you so many case studies, all these different frameworks, and I think I wanted to ask you about maybe in a group setting or even in a one-on-one setting, honestly, like, how do you know as a mental health professional, like, when do you push someone? It's like, cool, it's uncomfortable, let's go there, let's sit with it, versus like, oh, okay, I don't think now is the right time. There's a certain sensitivity around it that we're actually gonna honor by backing up. Yeah. What
that's such a good question. That's like, I say, like, I ask myself that every other session, if not every session, right? Like, because it's a relational skill, like you're sensing, and then it makes it harder in a group. So I'm gonna add that layer for you. Like, it's like yours is even harder because you're sensing like 10, 15, 20, how many other like souls with different goals, different timings. So there's that, right? So this is my motto, and my clients know this. So I'm the person that will push. Like, I go first. Like, I'm like, I know you're sad. I'm that person.
Let's go.
Like, I see it. Or I see that, like, that little tiny part of you that's never been allowed to feel guilty. I see it from session 1. And I point it out. Like, I'm really fast. So that's my style. That's my take. Not every therapist do this. Like,
Sure.
But for me, like, I can see where not just where I have to target, but where I have to go. But I also tell clients, you have the permission to tell me no. Like, so if I push, if I go too fast, or if I go too far, you are allowed to be like, no, not ready, or no, that's not right, or no, I don't want to go there today. Like, you're allowed to redirect me. I work like that because I work with a lot of couples. So I need to go fast because there's 2 of you in the room, and both of you have not been saying the real things for however long. So someone needs to be the person, right? So I'm the one like instigating change. When it comes to like individual women, why I go that fast is because I also want to teach them how to say no and how to have autonomy, right?
Love that.
If you're sensing something in your system that's saying like, oh, Grace is going too fast, and like, I'm rejecting what Grace is saying, you should feel brave enough and safe enough to tell me like, oh, not right now. And also, here's the thing, because I'm safe, right? So I will honor what you say, and I'll be like, all right, yeah, you're right. Let's talk about something else. And that's rare. That's a corrective experience for a lot of women, where a lot
Corrective.
of relationships, a lot of families, they are not allowed to say anything, and then when they say something, they get shut down so hard. So this is their chance to be like, yes, we can go as crazy far as you want, but also no, not the right time. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, modeling a corrective experience with authority. I think that's really cool. Yeah, that helps a lot.
I was gonna say a lot of Asians don't have that experience.
Yeah, because we're in our space, we're so aggressively not aggressive sometimes in many ways, where it really is. We're here to meet you where you're at, even in the weightlifting event. Again, I'm not going to use names, so I think it's okay. But it's funny, you set the stage for a certain level of emotional depth, and you kind of see why different guys are there, right? Simple question: what is your intention for being here? Right? You go around the room. There's some guys like, yeah, I'm here to be myself. I don't really know what that means or what that looks like. I'm here to connect with Asian men in a different way. Didn't have that with my brother, didn't have that with my friends, didn't have my mother, my father. And then you get a whole gamut, right? Like some guys are just like, excited to get a good workout in today, boys. Yeah. That's why I'm here. I'm like, okay, that's great. And sometimes even for those guys, they get to witness the
Yes.
emotionality without being forced to engage with it.
Mhm.
Right? It's
Mhm.
like you don't need to adopt any of this. But hopefully the witnessing of it being possible, maybe the next time you're having your emotional breakdown, you're like, oh, I remember that group. They were cool with, crying, holding space, maybe I'll go back. And
Mhm.
that's what I'm seeing is kind of fun at this point in the work, where it's just like the seeds are planted and we don't know when they're gonna sprout. And just doing so many events recently, Grace, I imagine you might feel this about like therapy sessions, where there's a moment in every event where like either it's like the first cry or the first emotional moment, and as a facilitator, I'm like, okay, we're here, we have begun. And that's our job as a facilitator, to like drum it up literally sometimes to get to that get to that
Yes.
space. Even in the Bay Area,
Mhm.
We're drumming intensely, so we get you kind of tired to the point where you can get out of your head a little bit. And I was like sitting back to back with like four guys, and then the guy across from me, behind me, I can't even see him, and then I hear the voice breaks, the voice cracks, right? And someone's talking, and then he stops talking. It's like, oh, what happened? He's crying. And then that moment, it's like, okay, let's take a moment. What's happening? Right? And he's like, my grandfather passed 2 weeks ago. And that's the power of like very physical modalities. And that was the moment in the Bay Area retreat where I was like,
This is
okay,
real.
we're here now. And
Wow.
if that guy can cry, we're okay. You don't have to cry, but
Yes. You're like,
you
"You have
must all
permission."
now
Yeah.
cry. Yeah.
Actually, that's gonna be the thing you sign at the start of every group now.
You must bring a bottle of water to stay hydrated.
I was curious about that. Like, is it? I know you're not trying to manufacture tears and emotional moments, but like, how do you create that space for men? But also, I think what I'm also curious is like, from what do men learn from those groups that they do bring out into their day-to-day lives?
The first word that comes to mind is reciprocity.
Mm-hmm.
Because in a group, it's not like a therapy session where it's a very one way, right? You're specifically there to receive attention, receive processing. But in the group, the beautiful thing is you're asked to practice both giving and receiving
Actively.
at the same time, in the same time frame, right? And then sometimes guys come in and you can feel it in them that they don't have that skill set. Like they're very comfortable talking about themselves, but they're not very good listeners. So what happens over time if that does not adjust? That you become incompatible with the space, because the guys there can feel like, oh, like he's taking so much energy. There isn't balance in the give and take of energy. The opposite is a problem too. Like you only listen and you don't share, right? A teacher of mine says we can only love that which is imperfect. So if someone presents us to like have all the answers, oh, I don't need help from you guys. I just have so much wisdom to give. It's like, I mean, cool. We may respect you on a certain level for your knowledge, but we're not going to feel connected to you. we're not going to feel a sense of kinship and brotherhood with you. So that's why I've been really appreciating our facilitators, like shout out Jackson and Noel, because in one breath they're like, I'm going to be the most powerful mirror for you to experience through dance, through taiko, who you've been, because your movement will not lie, and the way you hit the drum, it will reflect truth back to you, whether you like it or not. And then in the next moment, they're sitting in a circle, also sharing stuff about their life that they're processing and moving through, and crying with people just the same. That ability to move through that membrane of facilitator and brother, it's really powerful. It's really powerful, because I've experienced a lot of personal development spaces where the whole time there's like the master trainer, they're just the master trainer.
Yeah.
Right? There's that wall. That's a certain way of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
Some terminology we've been starting to use is like, I believe in non-hierarchical healing a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like as a man, I tell them your most powerful teacher will likely not even be me, Jackson, or Noel today. It's probably going to be the guy that you partner with, right? As we sit down and do eye gazing and, you know, knees touching, holding hands, looking into each other's eyes. You might be someone's most powerful teacher today, but that's responsibility as well. So, you know, come here and be open to the breakage that you may experience, but also be open to how you may inadvertently be someone's most powerful teacher. That's a beautiful and powerful responsibility, right? So then I think that also helps men in some way. It's like, you're not just here, you know, to be the wounded little puppy, but that's the beauty of the group. It's maximum permutations of healing.
Wow. I really like that, just because I think there was a part of me that was super scared, because when you said like, oh, we trust other participants to be the healer, I was like, oh my gosh, that is terrifying. That requires so much trust from, as being like the one in control, being the facilitator, one that people like look up to, right? In quote marks.
Yeah.
But that's also something I do, like another part of me fully believes in, right? Like that radical healing, but also undoing a lot of like the Western ideas of how teaching healing should be, that it should be from a guru, it should be from a shifu. But no, it's just like it comes from like every other person around you, if you're willing to receive it.
And that's what I find. I think that's what keeps people coming. I think eventually we may structure certain groups, certain events to be a bit more skills based. Noel wants to teach a gift giving workshop for men. And I was joking with him. I was like, oh man, like sales are going to go through the roof. Yeah. And then I've learned a lot from Noel around gift giving, right? Because it's like the idea that it's not necessarily the most expensive gift. Right? It can be the simplest thing, but if it's wrapped in intention and you're displaying your knowledge and consideration of someone, and like the way you present it, the process of how the gifts arrive to them, you know, they know it's theirs, it's sitting there, it's in a beautiful like package. It's so deep because, you know, gift giving, it's a form of love.
It is.
Right? The same principles in gift giving you can use in how you talk to someone, and how you consider someone. So that may be for 2026, but I'm glad.
Oh my gosh.
I'm testing that idea. And all the women I've told, they're like, yes.
No, literally, I was
take
like
my
that.
money.
I would know a lot of women who would just like pay for their boyfriends or like partners or husbands ticket to go. But also like if this was for couples, as someone who works with couples, I'm thinking that most of the time, like you know, how so many gifts and actions are misinterpreted when it's all about the intention, it's all about, and also the thought. And also when I think of gifts, as someone who likes giving gifts, I like to bring myself into the gift. Now, that's not something that's really hard for a lot of people to do, right? Because people are like, oh, a gift is for them, it's not about you. I'm like, no, I'm part of the gift. I'm giving part of myself to them. And how can that gift be like for them, but also reminds them of me? Like it's a relational tool.
Yeah. And then, you know, I'm like, we could do an acknowledgement circle at the end, right? Just to look at each other's men and be like, you guys showed up for a gift giving workshop because you love your partner so much, or you know, it could be for family, it could be for friends. Like you love the people in your life enough to want to be in service to them in this way, and to be in the learning process, to like take on a beginner's mind around learning a new skill. That's amazing. Look at your presence in this space as a testament to your ability to love, to your ability to learn. And if in this life you have those two skills, I'd argue you're going to have a pretty fulfilling time because your relationships will be well tended to, like a garden.
I think about how a lot of women, like specifically women in hetero relationships, say a lot of things about their men that are not really nice. You know, and also they're not wrong, right? They're not wrong when they're
No.
like, oh, he doesn't he
No.
he doesn't pay enough attention to me, he doesn't do enough housework. And then I end up doing double the load. That's why I love what you and other men are doing in their own respective like cultural spaces, you know, like white men are doing white men work and all these kind of things. I just love the new wave of masculinity that's like, hey, come do your own work with us, you know, with other men who are doing the work. And also the way you're talking about how like each man's incremental growth is worth celebrating. And that's something I want to bring to a lot of women too. Like, your man didn't do housework last week, but he put away the dishes today. Praise him. Like, praise him like a little boy. Because he probably never got that his whole life. But two, if you want him to keep doing something, don't bash him down. Like, you have to like prop him up and be like, do more. Do more of what I like. Mm-hmm.
And I can totally understand from the woman's perspective in these relationships where it's like,
Yes.
what he needs, you know, little praise for all these little things that like he should be doing. And that's valid too. And I think that's where our groups are here to, you know, to bridge the gap. Even when these men are showing up to say learn a skill like gift giving, it's not just about learning a skill. At the beginning, we check in with them, you know, how are you feeling? How's life going? Such that you've arrived to this point. And at the end, we do an acknowledgement circle. That we as men give each other the acknowledgement and love that maybe the little boys inside are needing, such that when men arrive back into the relationship, there's already that well is full. So then we can pour from a full cup into our partner, and then hopefully the experience is like, oh, now a man has shown up. Not because man in the sense of like, I'm here just to be in service, you know, I'm like a workhorse. It's like, no, I am sufficiently filled with acknowledgement and love by these communities I've chosen to be a part of. And now the spillage of that abundance can go on to my kids, my partner, my community. A term we've been using within the community that will probably end up in some level of mission statement is we heal inwards to serve outwards. There's an end game to this, because I've seen this over and over when you give these guys space to like hold those dark grieving parts of themselves, that makes space for the light to come through.
Yeah.
Right. That's why at the end of the acknowledgement circles, I can't get these guys to shut up.
You're like, I need to go home.
I'm not trying to pay another hour for this rental fee. You know what I'm saying? But
they're like, wait, here's $5 from each of us. We've got another.
Like, I want to tell that guy, you know, how awesome he is and how amazing he is and what he means to me and like what I see possible for him. It's like, oh my God. Okay.
But I want dinner.
I'm hungry. Okay, like the Tycho event in LA, it was supposed to be 1 to 5 p.m. We ended up going like 1 to 7 p.m.
Oh.
Just because at the end, it was just like, we got to do acknowledgement. It's so important.
It is.
It's going to take time.
Yep.
And it's going to take time. I think that's where, as a space, we've also learned, like, cool, time is not infinite, right? We're not going to be able to, every time, like, oh, you know, we have a relationship with the venue owner. They're like, yep, 2 hours. We love this work. Keep going. How can we also be sharper? Can we end on time? Can we start on time? Can we get there faster? It was introduced to me as the art of acknowledgement. When you acknowledge someone, there's a technique to it, right? Because a lot of people, when they aren't used to acknowledging, right, say like, I'm like, hey, Leo, can you acknowledge Grace? And it's like, oh, Grace, like you've done so much for me, you know, my life, my me. And it's like, oh.
And vague.
Okay. Very vague, very like, who are you acknowledging? Are you acknowledging yourself, you know, through the veil of acknowledging someone else? So that's a skill as well.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And I love seeing that over time. These guys are getting better at it. Because I'm telling guys, acknowledgement's not always words. And maybe you have a particular energy with someone. So some of the acknowledgements this past weekend, it was just like, hey, can we just have a second? Can we just look at each other? And sometimes tears just come from that.
Wow.
and nonverbal understanding. I get chills thinking about it because this guy up in the Bay Area that ran the taiko studio there. He met Noel for the first time. So it's like two taiko people that have been in that space for a long time, but they haven't experienced like mental health with that modality together. And so Noel's Filipino, but he speaks fluent Japanese. That taiko guy is Japanese. So Noel, pulls that guy up, hands on shoulders, and his voice is breaking. I forget what the Japanese phrase is, but he was telling me the translation. He said in Japanese to this guy, "It's been really hard, hasn't it?" And you just boom, instant like eye watering, right?
Yeah.
Just saying the statement and then living in the statement of what you just said. Believing in the power of your words and not needing to fluff. Can we get to it?
Yeah. That takes a lot of it takes a lot of confidence to do that. Yeah.
And what I realize is acknowledgement, it's also a form of gift giving as well.
It is.
You're giving the gift of acknowledgement, gift of your words, gift of your perception. I see you as this. Maybe sometimes you don't, but I do right now. And that hits on a deeper level. So yeah, sharpness in acknowledgement. Because I'm like, this is a skill you can use everywhere in your life.
Yeah.
You can acknowledge your family better. You can acknowledge your partner better. You can acknowledge women in your life better. Michael Lee, our main organizer up in the Bay, he's just been saying like, my connections with women are so much better now because when I speak this language of love and acknowledgement, that's a language that they understand. And it's not even necessarily romantic. It's just beautiful, deep human conversations wherever he goes because he now has the capacity to do so. Not from a place of like, if
I say the right thing, then like everything.
then I'll get something from her. And that's what I envision as well, a future where men are operating from this place of abundance and groundedness such that they have so much love to give. They can live in the service of their love and in turn see that tidal wave come back to them in like magnified ways that they can't even begin to imagine. These guys I talked to up in the Bay that have been experiencing this work more, they're like, I sleep better. I wake up knowing there's love for me. I wake up knowing I have love to give, and I go to sleep knowing all those same things. My body's just more relaxed. My nervous system is chilled out because I'm not constantly trying to prove my worth.
It sounds so simple. There's a part of me that's like, it's so simple, but it's so hard work. I mean, the work we both do is incredibly hard and taxing and minuscule, and even like what you're doing is parsing out how to acknowledge. It sounds so simple and it sounds so silly. I can see a lot of people being like, oh, I know how to give compliments, I'm good, but how do you give better compliments? And how do you and also how do you make it your own too?
Yeah, and then the cultural element of it all too, right? Noel speaking Japanese to a JA man, right? It hits me because I'm like, he may have never heard that kind of acknowledgement in that language from his peers, from his family, from his elders. And then vice versa, sometimes when I acknowledge Jackson, like he's fluent in Chinese too, so I'll speak to him in Chinese. 挣扎了那么久，就享受吧。
It doesn't translate the same.
那么困难的东西老争了那么久，可不可以给我慢下来？享受自己，自在，可不可以？ Right? Like those things, I'm like, oh, that's unique to an Asian men's space. We exist at the intersection of many, many cultures, and even within a group of Asian American men, we have varying degrees of connection to our culture. So when we show up to a space, whether tacitly or verbally, it's like, what if we start from there? If you're already, let's imagine, let's make believe, let's play that you already are enough of those things. Who do you want to be in this space then?
Yeah.
What if you didn't have to fight to be enough? Then from there, what do you choose to activate within yourself? What do you want to give yourself? What do you want to give the other men in this space? How do you want to contribute and be in service? And it's so fun from there, right? Then it's like I've been telling people, it doesn't feel like work. Yes, we cry. Yes, it's emotionally intense. Yes, we're all tired at the end of it. But it's like,
but we get to play.
We get to play. We get to imagine because imagination and hope, I think, are very intertwined.
Yes.
Have to be able to imagine a world where I could be okay with my body, I could be okay with my mind, I could be okay with mistakes I've made in the past, right? Even for me, very personally, recently, there's like, sometimes you're just like about to fall asleep, like staring up at the wall, and the cringe of like, oh my God, I did that to someone in the past. Oh my God, that's terrible.
Oh,
How could I do that? Like, what a terrible human being I am. And then I think now I have the ability to be like, wait, this is the sense of shame that brought me to do those terrible things anyways. So let me not like bring that shame back, because for what purpose? Doesn't help me, doesn't help those people I've wronged in the past. So let me let go of that shame and just continue to move forward and be present with the people that I am in relationship now, to be the best that I can, to acknowledge, to try to give the best of my energy, the best of my service, and regulate myself, and also ask for help. So I know we were saying like it's simple. It is simple, but for a lot of men, like each of these pieces that I'm talking about are very new.
Yes.
Asking for help, the like being able to kind of dissipate and regulate some of your own shame, right? Being able to share that shame or the regulation of that shame with someone across
being able
from you.
to receive shame too.
Oh man, relationships. I think I've been thinking about this. Relationships are hard.
They are.
It's hard, and it's hard, and it's beautiful, and that's why it's rewarding when it does click. And for the guys that show up, I'm like, you guys deserve that. I believe in it. In my peer support facilitation like training program that I did, that's something they hammered into us. Like, your job as a facilitator, as a peer support specialist, a lot of the times it's simply going to be to hold hope for someone that can't hold it for themselves, to just help them hold it for a moment as you try to help them, guide them back to that hope. Not forever, because that's unsustainable. But that's why it's such a hard job, right? Because it's deeply emotional. Because it'd be easy most time to be like, I'm screwed, and it's like, yeah, you kind of are.
Yeah. Not gonna lie. I mean, okay, so that's when you talk about that. I was like, I do say that to clients. I'm like, yeah, that's a little bit messed up, or that I would be severely depressed if I were in your shoes, right? But then I also say at the end of session is like, it's my job to hold the hope. So let me hold the hope, and you go live your life. Come back next week. Come back next week, and we'll talk about it again, and see if there's a little more hope. And also this, I think, I'm sure you feel this too. Like, if you don't have hope in your own life, whether it's from like, spiritual sources or relational sources or your own practices, your own self-care, you won't have that hope to go into all of this kind of work and really sit with all the complexity of like life.
Yeah, that's where I've learned. I think I've been inspired by some of your close friend stories about just playing Mario Kart and completely potatoing. You can cut it out of the podcast if you want.
No. I have no shame about it.
Too much. Okay, good.
No, not at all. So when I used to work with kids, like people would be like, "Oh, you can play Mario Kart with the kid and like side by side play, and it's like competitive, but it is also like gives them an edge. If they fall behind, they have like a boost. It's like all these like pro-social things, and I'm here like, no, it will not end well for the kid, not end well for therapy. This would not be therapeutic for anyone, especially not me. So
that's a powerful self-awareness, Grace.
So yes, inspired by my Mario Karting.
Yes. The term I'm thinking of is aggressive rest. Like, I am going to actively, I'm going to do not disturb on my phone. When I get a chance, I'm going to shut everything down. Do not disturb. I'm trying to catch up on playing the new Pokemon game. That's it. Nobody talk to me. I'm going to order it. I'm going to go eat at my favorite like Hainan chicken spot, right? Like,
oh yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah. No gatekeeping. It's called Collect to Go in Pasadena. But yeah, just really letting myself it almost feels like a little toddler tantrum.
Yes.
No, I don't want to do anything. Don't make me do anything. But I find that really important though, because if I'm just like adult mode if I'm adult mode all the time, and I'm like, I gotta do this and I gotta do this, I gotta present to people this way, and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. And I actually had a really cool meeting with an org up in Vancouver called Filipino BC. And me and John, the co-organizer for the Asian Men's Retreat, we just hopped on a meeting with a bunch of their staff, like 4 of their staff. And I loved it so much because I was like, this doesn't feel like a meeting.
Mm.
And maybe that's like an Asian cultural thing that I liked, where I was just like, I just got in there, and from the first hello, I was like, I feel comfortable here. Right, let's talk. Let's get to know each other. Let's learn about each other's values. Like, oh, like, where are you from? Like, what is your experience with this work? Like, why do you do this? It was such a natural conversation, and like we still covered logistics. At the end, we're like starting to roast each other a bit. They're like, oh, Leo, you're in LA. You're probably a Dodgers fan. Like, we don't mess with that up in Vancouver, right? And I was like, wow, this is a new way of engaging, of doing community work. The idea that this can feed us as the ones doing community work, as well as the people organizing it. We can also create space for fun, for joy, for imagination, so that when we arrive to the space, there's already trust there.
I think for me, like, the first word that came out was guanxi, right? Like that Chinese term of like, we don't do business until we have that relationship, even though the word just means like relationship. But that's the idea that like, if there's no trust, I'm not gonna do business with you, because that's putting down my like livelihood, my family, my reputation on this relationship. But I think this is where like it's so interesting within Asian culture that there's different degrees of warmth. I think a lot of people think like, oh, Asian culture is really cold, and it can be if you look at very more conservative, like closed off cultures like Korean or Japanese. They are a bit more insular. But if you look at the history of the country, it makes a lot of sense, and the geography of the country, right? Same with like northern China all the way to southern China. And then you have Southeast Asia, like where I'm from, where Filipino culture is from. Everyone's family until they're not. It's a very unique trait that a lot of I think a lot of Asians don't realize, like they actually bring they bring a lot to the table, but like if you don't take the time to also reflect on your own culture, your own family culture, what's normal to you, and realize it's not actually normal. Like you said, like the Filipino organization was like, oh, this is how we do things every day, and it's great. But you were stepping in from a more like American transactional culture. You're like, oh, that's new. But those are the things that like I'm like, these are the special things that make the world a bit better, because we do need to learn efficiency. I would say in Southeast Asia, we get nothing done sometimes. But at the same time, I think the world also needs to learn like the value of a good dinner. Like, you've seen me host like the gathering people into my house. It's just like 10 of us gathering just to like talk trash and laugh. But in that, there's so much trust of like, oh, I know he's good at his work. I know she's onto something, and like we believe in each other's vision and like support each other very implicitly.
Yeah, I love that, implicitly. And as we were saying before we started recording, I was like, oh, I haven't seen you guys in a long time. I've just been busy, and then when I get to rest, I'm just like, I just want a potato.
Aggressively
home all
rest.
day.
That's important.
Aggressively rest. But I love this feeling of like, man, I have all these close relationships, right? Especially with Jackson and Noel, we're doing a lot. We're traveling, we're planning, but there's also like this outer web where it's like we've been traditionally close, or maybe for us, I'm like, we actually haven't hung out like that many times, but there is this sense of like, when we have hung out, there's a lot of alignment. There's sharing of ideas. We have our burst, conversations like over text and stuff too, just to exchange ideas, like kind of talk about what's going on. And that connectivity is so cool. I feel in my life, I have such a rich ecosystem.
Yeah, I do too.
Relationships of like so many kinds. So then I'm like, oh, I don't need any one of these relationships to be necessarily more or less than what they are. They all serve like a beautiful purpose. But the richness, the abundance of those relationships. I know we talk about male loneliness epidemic, and this is kind of my goal for the men that come to this space. It's like, I want you to feel that this is possible. Right? You're like, oh man, I can show like the feeling of me walking into one of our events. I'm like, I love that guy. oh, I look over there, I love that guy, I know he loves me, and I feel very grateful. I'm like, that's the stuff that helps me sleep better at night, show up better to my relationships, regulate my emotions better, rest well, knowing that there's people out there in the world that believe in what I do, so I don't need to be on all the time. And that sense of, if I stop, then everything is going to stop, it's simply not true, right? Those beliefs within myself have been challenged tangibly over and over and over again by these people that I love and appreciate my work and continue the work. Shout out Michael Lee up in the Bay. I was really worried about like this Bay Area retreat. I was like, the venue, and then every week he'd be like, found a food sponsor. Okay, found a venue. I sent emails out to the whole email list. I'm like,
thank you.
Gonna be out of a job soon. I just show up and facilitate. That's all I do. I'm so used to that entrepreneur thing.
Right.
Of I do everything. Jackson actually helped me a lot with this, because he was like, let's sit down, let's have a meeting where you tell me everything you do in a week, every single email, every single thing. So he's been helping me a lot to be like, how can we make that easier? Do you have to be the one to do that? Can we systematize that? Can we automate that? Right. And I'm like, this is amazing. And then my energy can go more towards future, like thinking about these meetings, relationships, like setting up, like actually expanding the web of relationships, and while maintaining how strong the core stuff is. So yeah, resting on the shoulders of so many people that are helping me in so many ways. It's just like, wow, life is getting easier.
That's so amazing, because I don't see that a lot with men. I know it happens a lot with women, because we're socialized to catch up, we're socialized for coffee, we're socialized to like reach out and receive like relationally. But I see that with a lot of men in my personal life and also with clients, just this idea of like, I have to handle everything myself, but also I don't trust anyone else. And I don't blame them for that, because no one has also offered to reach out to help them. Whereas like what I hear that's really awesome about like Michael and Jackson is that they took time out of their own busy lives to see that Leo is struggling, even though Leo is very capable and able to do everything, and everything has been running smoothly to an extent, right? But they stepped in to be like, hey, I got you. I will help you manage, because I also have the capacity and skills, and I'm taking off one item off your plate so that you can. Yeah, I know you were going to fill it in, but it's like trusting you to still be responsible and not just like slack, right? But they can take on some, and they trust you to still do more. And like that particular thing, I'm like, that's rare. And we need more of that. We need more men reaching out to help first, men reaching out to help other men, because a lot of men don't even know that life could be better. It's not even that they're struggling. It's just that it could be easier.
I hear crazy stories in my groups about how men let other men down.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
It is astonishing. Right. I think of one story where, this guy that's the kind of the giver in his group, and he's like, all right, it's time for my wedding. Need you guys to do this, do this, do this, do this. All of them let him down. Not only let him down, make things harder. Ask for more stuff. Right. Then the system is just off. And then, like, okay, yeah, for my wedding, I'm like not actually friends with these people anymore, because I'm in my biggest moment of need in my life. You couldn't even do the bare minimum. But then it's also like having that standard as men, because to create that new life where you are around a lot of men that are reliable, that are culturally attuned, that understand nonverbal communication, that can take initiative, that you have to let go of certain things.
Yeah.
You have to let go of old life, old relationships to embrace something new. So that's something I see a lot of men in my group struggle with, right? They come to group, they experience a new reality of what's possible in male friendship, Asian male friendship and relationship, but they're still straddling these two worlds.
And it creates a split in them. Yeah.
Because they experience the beauty of what shows up in our group, and then they, I don't know, the month in between, say before the next in-person experience, they're still back in their regular lives with their regular relationships. And those, whatever set dynamics are there. And then it's like, cool, then the mathematics are not going to stack up. If 95% of your life is still operating in a certain level of relationship, especially like male friendship relationship, it's unlikely to change. But also shout out to the guys that, when they show up to the space, especially I find the older guys, they're really ready for it. They're like, I've had to grieve a whole trail of relationships that were disappointing to me. Feeling like begging the universe, just give me some reciprocity. So when they come into space where it's like, cool, here, have it. It's emotional for them.
It is.
And they embrace it, and they're ready for it. So again, never to rush any man in their process, right? That's something I say in the group too, is it doesn't hurt enough yet for you. And that's okay. It doesn't hurt enough yet for you to be willing to let go of what you need to in order to change.
Yep.
I am painfully aware of what that's been in my life. There's certain things I had to learn through fire. I had to learn through losing people, messing up relationships, breaking people's trust, letting them down, letting myself down. And yeah, of course, there are people I want to say sorry to. I would love if the opportunity arose to introduce this new version of myself, but I can't guarantee I'll ever get that possibility. Like what I can do is simply to live my life moving forward in this new version of myself, in this practice of a new value, in this practice of telling the truth, in this practice of being frank, in this practice of giving, learning, all these things.
Yeah, actually, there's a story that comes to mind for me. This is a very vulnerable moment. So a lot of people now know me as a therapist. And also as a therapist, you're supposed to be safe. You're supposed to be, in a way, like enlightened, right? In a way. But when I think back to my younger self, especially my 13-year-old self, the one that first moved to Beijing, full of rage, full of just like wanting to be better, but also not knowing how to be. And also I was a bully. And what has been really hard and what is still really hard is like this knowledge of like this past self, right? My siblings used to fear me. That's what they told me like 5 years ago when I was finally safer. They told me like, oh, we used to actually be scared of you because you would get so angry, right? And so that's like a part of you that when you're a therapist, you shouldn't be like, you shouldn't be talking about that, or be vulnerable about that, right? But what's been really healing is that, so there was one of the girls I bullied back then. I still think that I'm like cringe. Oh my God, Grace.
Oh yeah.
Don't do,
I
yeah,
feel you.
right.
I feel you.
Like I said really mean things to her. But at the end of high school, I apologized. Like I actually wrote a long apology. I was like, hey,
Wow.
it doesn't excuse anything I've done. Like,
Right.
you can do whatever you want with this letter or this note, or I think I just sent a message on like Instagram or Facebook or something like that, just being like, this is for me, this is not for you. Like you can do whatever you want with this. Like here's my sorry, here's the explanation. In that one of the girls, actually all of them responded positively to it. So I was like, okay, great. A little bit of the guilt gone, but still there. But what happened this summer was actually one of the girls that I used to bully, actually invited me to her wedding because I just happened to be in London.
Oh wow.
I think back to how much, like how hurtful I was, and then how much grace she then extended to me, and also to continue extending it to me, to then like for me to be able to be at her wedding. It's humbling. It's really humbling, and it gives me so much hope as well, right? In the relational work that we get to do, because like a lot of the seeds that we put in people's lives, we both get to see some return. That's why we still keep doing the work we do. Like there is like occasional moments of like, oh my God, this is why I do it. But there's a high chance that a lot of our work won't come to any kind of fruition in like 10 to 20 years. This whole story I just described was like 10 plus years of like leading up to this moment of like me being at her wedding and being like I said some really awful things back then, and I'm here. Of all the people in high school, like I still get to be here. But at the same time, like I think that's also why I can work with people who are mean now. I'm like, I have a really mean part too, and I understand why you're hurt. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I talked to Noel about this. What's our relationship with our personal darkness? Because I'd argue that as people, as facilitators that are given this position to help, it's a privilege and a responsibility. But if I know early on in this work, I was very afraid of my own darkness, right? Even as I was facilitating groups. I mean, granted, I was like 24, 25 at the time. But there was still a part of me that was like, oh, like I'm going to be caught. they're gonna see that I'm not this nice guy that I'm presenting. And I'll shout out Noel in particular, because a lot of what he talks about, both in his facilitation and just when he's part of groups, is relationship to darkness. Like, can you look your own anger in the face, your own, especially as men, right? Your own rage, your own sense of perhaps even entitlement or frustration to the world, and can you sit with it? Can you transmute it? I've been really feeling that recently as we've been doing a lot more eye gazing activities, and both of the people, I'm getting goosebumps. Both of the people, one in the Bay and one in LA for the Tycho event, when we did acknowledgments at the end, they both described me as a tree trunk.
Whoa.
As
Okay.
solid. And to me, like one of the guys in LA, I remember when he walked in the room, I didn't know him, but I was like, oh, when you look at a guy and you're like, oh, that's a tough
man.
Dude. That's like the furrowed eyebrows, like, hey guys, hey, how's it going? Like, not like mean necessarily, but like there's an intensity. There's an intensity in their gaze. And then I think sometimes around men like that, I used to be very like, oh, that's a real man. I'm not a real man. But I think because of my own work, I got matched up with him in like the sitting portion, and we both cried, just silently, like full tears. And then in the end, he was saying to me, I've never felt a sense of brotherhood and kinship like that with someone, and I just met you today. Because I think this is my gripe sometimes about mental health spaces, that it's a bit like, oh, let's just breathe. It's okay. It's okay. We're just be here to soft and gentle. And there's a part of me that's like, well, sometimes, I'm so angry. And then also for Asian men too, right? As an Asian men's space, if we don't tackle it in this space and be responsible about that, who's it going to spill onto? It's going to spill onto the women in our community. It's going to spill onto the children in our community. And we're going to be arbiters of the generational trauma if we don't tackle it.
Yes.
Right. We're taking this now off of the community's plate. And that's why this work is important. So it's like, hey, if you're going to be angry here. Yeah. With us. I can swear on this podcast.
Oh yeah, you are allowed to.
Podcast, right? Okay, beautiful. Because really, Noel recently, especially in Taiko, right? It's like hit the drum, and something he says. It's very simple, but I think it applies to this. He just says, stop fucking around. Stop fucking around. Both in how you're hitting the drum, both in what you're sharing in this space, how you're moving, how you're dancing, how you're conducting yourself, how you choose to like face your emotions. Stop fucking around.
Yeah, the permission to be able to say that to other men. That's important. That's so important. The accountability that other men can give other men to be able to say that. Because like if a woman says that to a man, it doesn't work.
It's different.
Like we just know that it's different. It doesn't land the same way. But a man telling another man, that especially a man they respect, to say, stop fucking around, get serious. Like, this is real. That's important. It's so important.
And it also matters that, because fucking around, those are just two words.
Yeah.
Words. What are words, right? It's the human energy that we insert into the words. That's how it's transmitted, right? Because and I think that's what works about Noel. Because in one breath, he can look at you and say, "Stop fucking around." He could also look at you and say, "Stop fucking around." Just stop fucking around. There's range in that emotionality, because some men, you have to approach them with the stop fucking around.
Yes.
Stop it. This is not you. This is not who you're meant to be. And you know this. So stop fucking around. But not all men are built like that. And that's okay. We were literally listening to a podcast from my teacher, like when he, facilitates big retreats, like 300 people in the room. He would say, like, everything he says twice.
Yeah.
He says once in the really intense, like almost screaming, like, where are you going to go? If you keep living like this, where's your life going to end up? And then he said, like, when he screams like that, 50% of the room is listening and 50% of the room has tuned out. And then he'll say it the other way. Where's your life going to take you if you keep acting like this? All right. And then the loud people have tuned out, and then the quiet people are listening. I was like, that's brilliant. It's an all encompassing, like, collectivist understanding of like not everyone receives things the same way.
Jen's not here, but she's gonna be so proud of it. That's literally like yin and yang, right? Like
Cool.
the young energy
Yes.
of like being forward, being like traditionally masculine, and also like being so direct and like in your face. But then being able to tap into that really, it's more feminine, right? Yin, more quiet, more soft and gentle. But like you said, 50% of the room tunes out, but 50% of the room will receive the other thing. So it's almost like once you know yourself and be able to accept like the wholeness of your, in a way, your gender or your sexuality or your spectrum of masculine to feminine. I know that's where healing lies as well, because I'm also thinking about, I work with a lot of women, and I work with this model called like internal family systems, where we talk about parts of us. And then some of them realize they have masculine parts, or like a part that feels more like a man from their dad, from their brother, from an uncle, some prominent male figure that taught them like, oh, you can say things really directly, but you may be misinterpreted because you're still in a woman's body. But I tell them like, like that's awesome. Like it doesn't mean it's bad. Being masculine or having masculine energy is not bad. I know the world tells you it's bad, right? Especially like you said, mental health spaces, soft and gentle, slow, indirect, implicit, softer. And I've even told this to a lot of therapists too. Like I speak like this in my sessions because I know a lot of Asians and there's like a lot of people who come to see me don't want me for this very soft, gooey grace. Like, no, they want grace for this, like a little bit more direct, but also able to tune into instantly when there's softness. I'm like, okay, I'm going to hold your softness. I'm going to match you at that level, right? And that's what Noel is doing so well. Like he's able to just be like, I'm a man, and I'll tell you to hit that drum. But if you need to cry in the corner, I'll be there when you're ready.
I will cry with you.
I'll cry with you.
I will cry harder for you than you are for you. Because sometimes with men, I think that's really important. You hear a man's story, and I see my psychology teacher do this. He'll cry. He'll like cry for someone's story, and then he'll kind of look at them and be like, "That's so painful what you shared. Why are you not crying for it?" And then that can strike a chord too. And I see it in our spaces where it's like, oh, I guess it is painful what I went through. Maybe I can give myself permission to finally grieve, versus simply endlessly normalizing the things that have hurt me.
Yep, because it's actually a trauma response when people, say like, oh yeah, I've been through like, my parents' divorce, I've been abused, I've been da 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 da, and they just say it with this blank face, and I'm like, that's not normal. And like even the act of saying something's not normal, or the act of being like feeling rage, feeling sad for the person in front of you, like I'm sure you've seen this in the group setting where it's even more amplified because people react so differently, right? But that should be the range of human experience. But trauma narrows it down to, I got to keep going. If it's not normal, if I realize how abnormal my life is, I might break down, or I might stop living, right? And so it's very normal reaction to something so abnormal. But the whole work of relational work that we're both doing is like, and once you realize how abnormal your experiences are, and you're still loved, you're still cared for, you're still capable of loving, you're you still have so much strength and resilience, and also accepting the fact that these things happen to you, that shaped you into who you are. So you can't exactly just forget that they happen. Like all of this integrative work, this is the work that we get to do. Wild.
It's wild. It's fun, but I love. I've just been thinking about this a lot, Grace. I think about laughter a lot.
Yes.
Because Jackson will always say this in his dance facilitation. He says, Brene Brown would also say, joy is the most vulnerable emotion. It is so vulnerable to reveal your happiness, the full expression of you. And then maybe for a lot of Asian kids, like the full expression was policed.
Yeah.
Growing up, right? It's like, what do you have to be so happy about?
You have a roof over your head.
You haven't worked.
Yeah, you got an A. You're good.
You haven't worked hard enough to deserve that joy, right? That's been a very salient point in our groups. It's like, I don't believe I deserve joy unless I've earned it. And then I keep moving the fucking goalpost on myself. So what? I'll never experience joy. days and weeks without laughing. It's like a true belly laugh.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel safe with myself. Because I don't feel safe with people. And I numb it out with addictions, with internet, with scrolling. All of life becomes flatlined.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I realize we are very overtime.
Super overtime.
I know. I was like looking at the time, like, oh, this is so good, but I know we both have lives to live, so we should honor the time.
Stay tuned in. No, thank you for listening. Thank you for everyone for all the great feedback from the last session. I strongly believe in this future where men can be more themselves, more embodied, have these relational skills so that everyone around them just benefits and feels good, get to feel the stability of their presence. It's such a gift, and thank you in advance for supporting the men in your life in the ways you have, because sometimes it doesn't register to us how much we need it until our heart gets cracked open. So thank you.
Yay, thank you. I look forward to this episode getting quoted back to me at some point.
I hope so.
I'll let you know when it does again.
Yes, text me.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, give us a 5-star rating on Spotify or leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's a small little act that helps other listeners discover our show. And if you haven't already, click the follow button to make sure that you don't miss the next episode. Lastly, connect with us on Instagram at TCM Talk Therapy. We love hearing from you. Thanks, and tune in next time for more TCM Talk Therapy with Jen and Grace.